Hi, my name is Amy and I'm going to do a screencast on petty cash funds.
So what is a petty cash fund? A petty cash fund is a small amount of cash kept on hand to pay for minor expenditures, reimbursements, or small amounts owed.
So why do companies establish petty cash funds?
Reasons to establish a petty cash fund is for basic control activity, helping a company to monitor its cash outflows. Also, there are times when writing a check reduces time efficiency and requires more effort from workers to produce as a result of the writing, signing, and cashing of the check required. So what do we need to operate a petty cash fund? So the first thing that we must do is to establish the fund, make payments from the fund, and replenish the fund. I will now talk about establishing the fund.
To establish a fund, you will need to merely write a check that will be needed. You will then need to cash the check and place it under the care of a custodian who is employee designated. A journal entry is then made.
I will now talk about making payments from the fund. After the establishment of a petty cash fund, cash can now be used to pay for expenditures. For example, in the case of postage expenses, supplies expenses, and miscellaneous expenses. I will now talk about replenishing the fund.
Decreasing cash in the fund means that a top-up is required, especially when the amount of cash in the fund gets low.
The first thing that we must do to replenish the fund is to count the cash. The second thing we must do is to cash a check for the specific amount needed to bring the total cash in the fund back to the initial balance.
It should be noted, when a petty cash fund is replenished, the amount of cash needed should equal the total amount of receipts. The next thing I will talk about is cash over and short. Cash over and short arises when custodians do not obtain all receipts or give incorrect change. This results in the amount of receipts and differences in the cash needed to replenish the fund. The differences can be seen debited or credited to a temporary account called cash over and short. This is an example of a cash over and short. And that brings me over to the end of my screencast. Thank you.
Created using Powtoon.